show them where we speak truth to power. And certainly my name Blakk Rasta. Here we do not do politics. What we do is called patriotism. And here we don't criticize. We only criticize to build and not to destroy. From the newsreel, we keep it real. My brother, my sister, without much ado, let's go into today's show. And remember to share this broadcast is very important today. Oh my God, have mercy. We have something really serious to talk about. And I need every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Kwame, Mensa, Joe to listen to this one, yeah. Hey! Today we have a lot to talk about, and we are live on Facebook. Of course, we are also live on Twitter, live on YouTube, and live on Instagram. Our name is 3FM927, and here we go. So this one I'm reading from myown3news.com, and of course that is the most authentic source of news online. And it says, be specific, which sectors do you want government to cut expenditure? Pious Access German ambassador. And I read, now the German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, who advised the Akufo-Addo administration to cut its expenditure and the size of the government, has been told to be specific in the areas he wants the government to reduce spending. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, NYA, Pious Enam Hajidi, indicated that is the easiest thing to do is just to call for cuts in government spending and not give specifics. Now, the German ambassador was addressing the press on Friday, wondered why Ghana has been crying to the international community for help when the country continues to operate a large-sized government bigger than Germany. I can only compare with other countries like my own, and I can just come to the conclusion that the number is much higher than in my country, Germany. So that might bring me to the conclusion that maybe there's room for improvement. Well, of course, it depends very much on what kind of expenditures you are looking at. I am convinced this is true, for if I look at the budget of the German Foreign Ministry of the German government, I am convinced there are important tasks that can be cut without hurting economic development. And I am convinced, without going into detail, this also is true for Ghana. There are certain expenditures that can be lowered substantially and make an important impact, and it has to be part of the package. I mean, I cannot go out of the international to the international community and say I need help, but I am not willing to cut my own budget expenditures. I have to be careful not to cut the social expenditures that are destroying lives and families. I have to be very careful not to take measures that might negatively impact economic growth. But I am convinced there are many expenditures that could be looked at very carefully and can be lowered substantially, he said. Oh my God, what a shameless government. What a dirty president. Oh, what dirty people in power. I am so ashamed of these people in power. The man has come all the way from Germany. The dirty president went all the way to talk to the German ambassador, to go out there and beg China for China to come and help Ghana. What kind of help is Ghana looking for from China? Debt cancellation. Every lazy man's request is, give me, let me go eat. No lazy man would ever ask you for employment. That is what Ghana is doing right now. Ghana wants debt cancellation. Ghana is not even look at restructuring the debt they owe the people. Ghana is not even looking at telling China, hey, listen, we owe you this much. We are not looking for charity. We want to be able to pay that. This is how we will be able to pay you with the coming years, even if it takes 20 or 30 years. That is how a responsible person speaks. Now you don't owe me money, and early in the morning whilst I am sleeping, you come knocking at my door, and when I open up, all you tell me is that you are here to ask me to cancel the debt that you owe me. That is being irresponsible, and that is not showing good leadership. Now the president went to the German ambassador and begged him to go back China because Germany and China have a very good relationship. So that China would forgive Ghana is dirt. And this is what the German ambassador is saying. Now the German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, is making it very clear that he cannot go out there to the international board and speak on behalf of Ghana to have Ghana's debt cancelled, or to look for help for Ghana when Ghana is still maintaining a huge government expenditure posture. Appointees are inundating government expenditure. And at the same time, the German ambassador is making sense. He says when we're talking about cutting down on expenditure, we are not talking about going into the social sector and cutting it down. What the man is talking about is that let the hospitals still operate, let the water still flow in the taps, let electricity flow, and at the same time, make sure that the people are eating. You do not build a cathedral when the people have no hospitals. You do not build a cathedral when the people have no water passing through their taps. My brother, my sister, now there are some people in the central region, Mrekukrom, since 1985, they have never seen water. Since 1985, they have never seen electricity. Yet this was the country that had Akosombo Dam, the biggest in the world at the time it was built. My brother, my sister, now the German ambassador is pumping sense into the senseless coconuts of our leaders. And I am so ashamed of this country. Hear me now. Now, what is Pius saying? Now, these are the people who are known as the attack dogs. Every time somebody makes sense, they will come out with senselessness to try and push you into the deepest abyss where they belong. My brother, my sister, to make you look like you are not making sense. Now your president is running after no other person but the German ambassador. The president is not even speaking to the leader of the German people. He's talking to his ambassador in Ghana. Now, listen, man, let me make it clearer. Hear me now. Listen. Do you think that the Ghana ambassador to Germany would ever be asked by the German prime minister or president or chancellor, as they call them, my brother, my sister, to go out there and look for help, financial help for the German people? That is how insignificant your country is. That is how infinitesimal the power of your people is. Your people have no power. Your power is very minute. That's if you have anything at all. Now, the German chancellor would never ever approach the Ghanaian ambassador in Germany and ask him to go out and look for financial aid for him. He or she would be so embarrassed to do that. Yet, our president will stoop so low, my brother, my sister, to go into the German ambassador, to go and beg another country to come and free it out of its irresponsible behavior. It is so shocking and so sad, brethren. How do you think our people in the diaspora are going to feel anytime they hear us running around and begging people to free us of our debts? They are going to be ashamed. They will not have any voice out there because their country is nothing but a begging puppet. Hear me now, brethren. This thing came out a couple of days ago, but I decided not to make any comment on it because I was waiting to see how the government is going to react to this. This is a shameless government running around and begging left, right, and center, having blown so much money, and the German ambassador has made it unequivocally clear that, hey, listen, the size of government in Ghana is bigger than what we have in Germany. In fact, your budget expenditure on some things are even bigger than what we spend there in Germany. And you are not ashamed. You come over to us and you are begging us for what? It's like a man drives a BMW into the house of a man who rides a bicycle and is asking him for a loan. It tells you how very unimaginably careless this person is. Unimaginably careless. My brother, my sister, this person can be unimaginably irresponsible. I am ashamed of them, brethren. Hey, now your people are all running to Germany. All your doctors and nurses are running to Germany because of your unimaginable, careless leadership. unimaginable, irresponsible leaders that we have in this country. Posterity will judge all of you so harshly. Next thing, I am looking at this from Graphic Online. This is the national communicator, and it says, Exodus for greener pastures. 100 nurses leave Pantine Hospital alone. Pantine Hospital alone, 100 nurses have left. Jesus have mercy. And this was published today, the 28th day of February, written by one McLean Coffey. And I read nearly 150 experienced, underline the word experience. Yes, experienced nurses and other health professionals from the Pantine Hospital have left the shores of the country in search of greener pastures in the last 6 years. Of the number, 100 are specialized psychiatric and general nurses, whilst the rest consist of doctors, pharmacists, technicians, and other experienced personnel in the healthcare delivery chain. Data sourced from the hospital showed that the number of experienced professionals that have abandoned their jobs started increasing in an alarming rate since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, this phenomenon is defeating the efforts of the government to reinforce the workforce of the hospital with the recruitment of an additional 179 staff. That's professional nurses, numbering 129 between 2018 and 2022. Now, an assessment of the data showed that from a report of 8 professionals leaving 2018, the number gradually jumped to 26 personnel in 2020 and peaked at 64 practitioners resigning in 2022. That's just last year. The situation became more alarming when 11 experienced professionals, made up of 10 nurses and 1 doctor, resigned in January this year alone. Pantine. 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 How many times did I call you? So this government is a government that is devoid of reasoning. Should I make it clear? There are some people who will blindly follow this government because they are getting something small to tafre. As long as you are tafreeing, you are not even thinking about the other people who are dying in the ghetto. Hear me now, let me make it clearer. Listen, do you remember that 2 months ago, this was the government that came out to announce, using the Ministry of Health, my brother, my sister, to say that they are sending some nurses out of Ghana to the UK for some paltry sum. My brother, my sister, they said they were exporting nurses. Today, if you are exporting nurses to the UK, look at what is happening to Pantine Hospital alone. Over 100 professionals left, peaking only last year, 64. They left this dirty government, my brother, my sister. I am shocked to the bongo clippings. Yet you are exporting nurses and doctors, and you are crying that you don't have enough. This is a very dangerous, dirty, irresponsible government. Ah! So you see why the German ambassador spoke like that to the people of Ghana? You do not cut social interventions. What you cut, you must make sure that you have common sense. Cut down the number of appointees. Cut down your expenditure before we can sit on the common sense table and reason. Your nurses are all living. Your doctors are all living. President is bound. In fact, he is bent on producing a cathedral to serve the God of his ancestors, the God of Israel. My brother, my sister, I look at some of these things and I cringe. You are exporting nurses. And all of a sudden, the nurses and doctors have realized that they don't need you as middlemen. They can actually gain traction when they go out there alone. They will make their money. So they sidestepped them and they went into the international market, and all of them are going one after the other. Now the government is crying. What a dirty government with no common sense. Jesus have mercy. Hey! I wanted to look at another thing, but my very good friend Eric Mawena Egbeta is here. And then, but Yes, before I hand over the microphone to him, there is something I quickly want to look at here. We'll just take 1 minute. It says, Frances Esiam dams Napo's vice presidential ambition. Now, the immediate past chief executive officer, CEO of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company Limited, GCMCL, Madame Frances Ewurabna Esiam, has said that the Minister of Energy, Mr. Matthew Opoku, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh Napo, is not fit to partner Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, I don't know the credentials of Mahmoud Bawumia, except that in Ghana he's known as the biggest liar, and at the same time he goes around picketing and he's lost all his credibility. The fine gentleman joined a dirty party and he has messed up himself. And Frances Esiam is a prostitute politician, isn't it? Now, this was the same person who in the days of Rawlings claimed that she was whipped with ponkokoti. I don't know how to say ponkokoti in English. Maybe Eric Marwin better will help me with that. She was whipped with ponkokoti, baramzoom. And she decided to leave the NDC and found herself with the NPP. So I asked myself, politicians, how do you belong to your various political parties? Is it by ideology or just by tafri? Let me know. Eric Marwin, how are you doing this morning?
Blessed as always.
Ponkokoti, how do you